Hi, my name is Mike G, and have another video here for you today. And this one has a lot to do with what's been popping up as a very important topic in a lot of the world news. And somehow this has become a very big issue. So let's see how the Bible settles this. So God settled the gender issue in Genesis 1:26 to 27. So gender is a big deal now. For some reason, gender gender identity is something that is in the media. It's part of ESG. ESG is something we're going to get into in another video. This has to do with a way everything's being viewed in corporations if it's ESG compliant. And one of the things of being ESG compliant is the social aspect: environment, social, government. So the social aspect of the governance is really motivated by this whole a movement of identity politics. Okay, identity politics. So let's see what the Bible says, and we'll settle this right now, so that you can see that before, thousands of years ago, God had settled a lot of stuff, but because people today have thought, well, where is God? Well, God's here. It's always been here. It's just that you can't see it unless you've been brought into the kingdom. And now we're seeing that the tares are growing, and you could see the evil, and they don't even care anymore. So before they used to hide themselves, but now you can see the evil. So what does it say? Genesis 1:26, and God saith. Now this is Genesis 1:26. So we know that the word God here is Elohim. Elohim is the family name of God. Yahweh is God the Father. Yahweh is Jesus. And Elohim is God the Father, Yahweh, and all the elect. Okay, all the elect. So this is the family of God. Let us, that's why it's plural, make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over fish of the sea, and over fowl of the heavens, and over cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that is creeping on the earth. And God prepareth the man in his image. In the image of God he prepared him. A male and a female he prepared them. And God blesseth them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the heavens, and over every living thing that is creeping upon the earth. So today we don't have the rulers of the world ruling with God in mind. So the rulers now is the kingdom, you could say, of darkness, until the light comes. And you could see this very plainly with all the lying that's going on with the nations. They're subjecting their people for financial gain, for personal financial gain. They're subjecting their people to these crazy sanctions, or this virtue signaling of sacrificing your own people to give money to another country, and their people starve. This is Europe is doing it, the United States is doing this. So we know that the leaders now are not promoting God; they're promoting their own agenda. So let's just see if we miss this. His image. So let's just draw this out. So male and female. This is the image of God. Him. Image is male and female. So now, here's the big question. If this is the image of God, male and female, then what is the image of the LGBTQ and whatever else letters and trans? What is this image? This is not of God. Just remember this now. This is chaos. This is confusion. This is darkness. And not only is it all this, but these are not supposed to be ruling. Because it says that male and female should rule. This is how God set up the pattern. This is the same pattern that follows everything. You can see this in my other videos, in The Truth of Everything, that even our own bodies have a masculine and a feminine part together. The male is representative of your head. The female is representative of your torso. So their individual responsibilities, or not responsibilities, the male's responsibility and the female responsibility mirrors how your body functions. The food goes in through the mouth of the masculine. The female digests the food, and she brings back the food to the male. This relationship is the pattern that God had set forth all the way in Genesis. And we, as the Elohim, or the children of God, are going to bring forth the same pattern. This is our focus. So, now we're going to go to Romans 1:17. And in Romans 1:17, Romans 1:17, this is expounded upon. For the righteousness of God in it is revealed from faith to faith. So faith to faith. Which faith? Whose faith? It's not your faith. It's God's faith. God to God. Remember, the Elohim is the family of God. So the faith of God to God. God, the Elohim. According as it hath been written, and the righteous one by faith shall live. For revealed is the wrath of God from heaven upon all impiety. So the wrath is revealed. So we're going to jump ahead in our thinking here, so we could see the wrath of God in the LGBTQ, especially the trans taking children and surgically altering a child before its head is properly developed at a young age, giving hormone blockers or testosterone or whatever to create this abomination. That's not of God. And just think of who's pushing this too. That ESG, which we're going to do in another video, which is going to be pretty interesting. For revealed is the wrath of God from heaven upon all impiety and unrighteousness of men holding down the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which is known of God is manifest among them. So, remember, let us make man in our image. And what's the first word that God said? The Elohim said, let light be. That's Genesis 1:1, 1:2. For God did manifest to them, for the invisible things of him, remember God's the Spirit, from the creation of the world, by the things being understood, are plainly seen, masculine and feminine. Everything is plainly seen, both his eternal power and Godhead. If you understand, let us make man in our image, masculine and feminine, the masculine parallels relativity, and the feminine parallels quantum physics. So, both his eternal power and Godhead, to their being inexcusable, because having known God, they did not glorify as God, nor gave thanks, but were made vain in their reasonings. You see, what are the reasonings? The scientists, they say, well, where's God? They're blinded in their reasonings, and their unintelligent heart was darkened. Professing to be wise, they were made fools, and changed the glory of the incorruptible God. Remember, let light be. The way, the truth, the I am. Yahweh God is I am. It's identity and being. God into the likeness of an image of corruptible man, and the fowls and the quadruples and of reptiles, the lizard people. Wherefore also God did give them up in their desires of their hearts to uncleanness, to dishonor their bodies among themselves. Here it comes. Who did change the truth of God. Now, what was the truth? Let us make man in our image, male and female. God into, so what did they change the truth? Into a falsehood. and did honor and serve the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed to the ages. Amen. Because of this, remember, man and woman had fallen in the garden because they took of the knowledge of the good and evil, and they ate that fruit. And that disobedience created an identity apart from God. That's why Adam said I 4 times. The first words out of Adam's mouth when God confronted him was I am naked, I am afraid, I heard thy sound, and I covered and I hide myself. Because of this, God gave them up to dishonorable affections, for even their females did change the natural use into that against nature. I'm going to do a video on the women today that were failed by feminism, and now they ended up creating this chasing Chad 20s of their lives, and they're actually polluted their own bodies by having all these guys in them. I'm going to do another video on that. So, the natural use against nature, and in like manner also the males, having left the natural use of the female, did burn in their longing toward one another. Males with males working shame, and the recompense of their error that was fit in themselves receiving. And according as they did not approve of having God in knowledge, God gave them up to disapproved mind. So you see, this whole gender nonsense is a disapproved mind, to do the things not seemly, having been filled with all unrighteousness, whoredom, wickedness, covetousness, malice, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, evil dispositions, and whisperers, evil speakers, God-haters, insulting, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, unintelligent, faithless, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who the righteous judgment of God having known that those practicing in such things are worthy of death, not only to them but also have delight in those practicing them. You see, there is a lot more to the male and the female, let us make man in our own image, that meets the eye. People think that, oh, that's nice, the Bible says that, that's nice. All this chaos down here that is not of God. This is the seed of the devil. This is the seed of the devil. All this gender nonsense, especially converting children by surgery, which they're not converting the child, because you still have the XY, you still have the same chromosomes. The chromosomes haven't changed. So when they do these operations, they're not changing the chromosomes. What they're doing is they're actually making a living lie, the embodiment of a lie. God said, let us make man in our image, male and female. And the coming together of the male and the female is the image of God. We can see in our world today that this is being promoted. And if you don't promote this, you are going to start losing your social credits, because ESG is definitely very, very important in the way money is spent by corporations and what they market to you. We're going to get into that with Netflix in another video. We have to get away from this. Your children, any children that you have within your grasp, we have to focus on male and female. We have to, because this is the image, this is the pattern that God set for us to rule, to exist, to have, to be in line with God. And if you're away from God, then you're going to have chaos. You're definitely going to have chaos. Let's go just a little bit further. Now we're going to go into Romans 2. Therefore, thou art inexcusable, O man, everyone who is judging. For in that in which thou dost judge, the other thyself dost condemn. For the same things thou dost practice who are judging. And we have known that the judgment of God is according to truth. You see, truth is the most important thing that we must hold up. We cannot sacrifice truth. And notice how important that was. That the summation, again, stays with truth. Because when you sacrifice, so this is the truth. When you sacrifice the truth, that means now you're going to live in lies. To sacrifice truth is a parallel to sacrificing Jesus. You see, the truth and Jesus are together. In fact, in the Greek word which was one of my videos, the word truth is made up of two Greek words, hidden, alpha. You can't make this up. It's just incredible. You cannot escape. The hidden God is truth. This is the hidden God. God is hidden in the truth. If you are more in line with the truth, as much truth as you can go, the more truth you put in your life and you live on, the more you will escape the lies. You might lose things. You might lose what you think is your friends. You might lose money. I can tell you definitely you'll lose money. Because, Kanye West, which, I wasn't a big fan of Kanye because I thought he's crazy. But Kanye West, which is really interesting, he had his truth moment just recently. And they're calling him anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic, which is nothing. But they're not saying that he's lying. They call him anti-Semitic, but they're not saying that he's lying. That he says that he can't go further because the industry of let's say media, the whole media industry, is controlled by the Jews. He said this, and immediately after he said this, sponsors, donors dumped him. And you have to have your moments where you're going to have to hold up truth. Because if you don't hold up the truth, then you too have your responsibility for sacrificing Jesus. You might think that that's a heavy burden, but no, that's exactly what it is. Because when sin conceiveth, let's go look at that. Sin conceiveth. Hope I can find it. Alright, so there's a verse about sin conceiveth. At the end, when it's perfected sin, it brings forth death. Oh, okay, I could do death. Sometimes I can't spell the words properly. That's kind of little things I gotta deal with. Okay, if anyone, all righteous sin, because also the Christ afterward, having conceived, both give birth to sin. Okay, here. All right, James 1:15. Let's go to 14 so it's a little better. Let no one say, being tempted from God, I am tempted, for God is not tempted of evil or of lies, and himself doth tempt no one. And each one is tempted by his own desires, the desire of the lie, being led away and enticed. Remember, when you're led away from the truth, you're already by default in lies. Afterward, the sin, having conceived, doth give birth to have the desire, having conceived, doth give birth to sin, and the sin, having been perfected, doth bring forth death. Be not led astray, my brethren, beloved. Every good giving and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the lights. Why lights? Because light brings will guide the way, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turning. Having counseled, he beget us with a word of truth. You see, truth is what pulls us out of lies and sin. Truth. Interesting. Look where it is again. Truth. For our being a certain first fruit. What fruit? Fruit of truth. of his creatures. Which creatures? Let us make man in our image. So then, my brethren, beloved, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, for the wrath of a man, the righteousness of God doth not work. Wherefore, having put aside all filthiness and superabundance of evil, in meekness by receiving the ingrafted word. What word? Truth. What's the truth and the way? The name Jesus. Jesus means salvation is of Yahweh. Salvation is of I am. And Jesus is the truth, the light of the life, and the way to God. In meekness be receiving and the ingrafted word that is able to save your souls. And become ye doers of the word. Truth, doers, do the truth, and be not hearers only, deceiving, again, lying to yourselves. You see, you have to live. Comparing spiritual with spiritual. Your inner spiritual truth has to match what comes out of you. The Bible gives you comparisons, analogous teaching. So for us, we have to live in truth. We have to find the truth. We have to look for truth so that we don't believe lies. Because once you believe lies, you begin to defend the lie, and then you're fed more lies. If you want to see how much, let me see if there's more. Very wealthy people, very powerful people need everyone to say yes to them. Yes. Because if you don't, what happens? If this is a powerful or rich person, if you don't say yes or agree with them, what happens? You might lose money. So you're going to sacrifice Jesus. You're going to sacrifice Jesus to tell this person, feed this person lies for money. That's how important this is. And the gender identity is really interesting how the Bible really sets this forth in Genesis 1. Right from Genesis 1, it's right away it talks about let us make man in our image. Let's go back. Where the word was with God. Where is it? 16. Oh, that's John. Wrong place. Genesis 1. Was it 19, I think? No, it was a 2. God said, let us... There's kind... Oh, geez, I keep forgetting where this is. Okay, 26. And God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness, and let them rule over them together. Male and female, together they rule over fish of the sea, and over fowl of the heavens, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that is creeping on the earth. And God prepareth the man in his image. In the image of God he prepared him, a male and female he prepared them. God prepared male and female. The devil's seed is this whole LGBTQ and trans. This is the devil's seed. Now, we were deceived. The children of God have been deceived into believing these lies. Truth, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. If you are engaged in things in your life that are not truth-based, and this is starting to resonate with you, then your only action is the inside of yourself is going to start saying, we need to go for more truth. If we have truth, this world would not be killing each other. It would not be killing each other because everybody's got to eat, and, it's just the way it is. Now people are fighting over scraps of meat, gallons of gasoline, and what's really important to the left agenda? Gender identity. our identity politics. That's more important to them. And it's important to them because it's the basis of the chaos. Let us make man in our image. What did the devil, the serpent, try and do? Separate God, separate man and woman from God. That is what this chaos is doing. It's separating us from the ideal of let us make man in our image, male and female. I hope this video helps. I hope you share it with other people. God bless. God bless.